Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 18th of February. So first things first, let's go and have a look at the news events that are due out today. Let's just refresh this. So we've already seen some data released earlier on. So still in China, obviously it's a spring break going on. Aside of that, then today we've got just looking here, the New Zealand bank decision, central bank decision. I mean, they've been down to 2.25 for a little while now, and they're unlikely to be changing from that yet. So that's a leave alone statement there. It's at 1 o'clock. It's early. Anyway. And then we've got core durable goods. Now these are going to be like a month late, probably still 21 late days late, so the impact is less, but it may still have an impact. But then as you can see, they're orange on here, and they're lesser impact anyway. Then we've got the FOMC meeting minutes coming out at 7 o'clock there. Probably not a great deal that hasn't been already spoken will be in those minutes. Most of the speakers will have spoken about what was said. Let's just have a look at just a refresh of this and see if there's anything else in terms of speakers. No, ECB speaker at 5 o'clock. There's nothing too much else there at the moment then. So okay, we've had the PPI data coming out here. Good news there, inflation's falling in terms of the producers price index. Services, not so good news. CPI up above where it's supposed, so we've still got inflation at one end and lacking of jobs at the other. It's not a good mix. Right, let's get on and look at these markets then. We'll start off looking at the euro dollar, and well, the euro yesterday it did actually carry on for quite a while to the downside, then managed a bit of a rally in the afternoon there. At the moment we're looking like we're still in this sort of slow drift that's occurring now. It's turned into a bit of a drift to the downside more than anything else. It was a little bit steeper yesterday. We've got the rally. At the moment it looks quite soft where it is, but be careful. Come post 8 o'clock this can turn on a dime, as they say, or sixpence for the old people out there. So we could see this change, but it does look quite nice on the downside for a bit of a continuation. Right, the pound, spiky action in this we've seen in the short term. Is all I can say here really. Not looking particularly great here. It's still got the drift, more of a drift down, not such a bounce. Yesterday it sort of came back a little bit here. Again, looking soft here. Maybe post 8 o'clock. If we can get a breakdown here. Yesterday it did get after the news it sort of rallied for a little while. It didn't really come into anything on this time frame. On the lower time frames though, there was some key moving averages where it pulled into. There we go, there it is, 50 MA, 15 minute 50. It pulled into that and started turning around later there in the morning. It's just a bit of a patience on this to see what it will do, but it's got the potential for a rollover here. Whether we'll get it all the way down to its S1, you notice how wide the pivots are relative to the previous days, but we'll see. US dollar yen, this is still softening at the moment. It's coming back to resistance on the short term. On the bigger time frame here, it's just consolidating still on this phase here. It's not really, there you go, it's right around this pivot still. It's struggling to break back above that at this stage. At some point though, we might see a breakout. Now the way it's been tapping, generally when it's been running like this, I'll wait for the breakout and retest. and see if we can get there. Sometimes it will just fly, but it's still got the potential for intervention if it does start flying. We are quite a long way away from the previous highs where intervention was a big talking point. Anyway, yeah, there's probably other things that are better, but a break to the upside could be on the cards there. Australian dollar, it's got a bit ugly. It's pulling, still relatively strong on that bigger time frame, but it's quite ugly on the lower time 4 hours here. It's getting into quite a mixture. And the 60-minute, it's like the others in terms of the potential for it to roll over, but the others look better, if that makes sense. Okay, US dollar CAD. US dollar CAD, so the CAD is being a CAD really. Drifting to the upside from last week into this week, so the trend, short-term trend, that is probably a nicer trend than a lot of the other markets here. We could just get a continuation. I really don't like taking it early in the morning. I prefer it later in the morning. What time did it kick off yesterday? About 1 o'clock, and it just seems to get better moves in that sort of time. Didn't go forever yesterday, but it just broke through, back through its monthly pivot there, but it has the potential to go back up and retest that. The dollar strength is generally what we're seeing over these markets. I mean, this is the dollar CAD, of course, so we're just seeing the strength of the dollar coming through, and this is the New Zealand dollar now. So you see the dollar making the play here. Quite ugly really. Okay, so we see, actually that data must be out on the New Zealand dollar. It's 1 o'clock this morning, isn't it? That's why we're just seeing this movement here. Yeah, silly old me. There you go, there's the 1 o'clock. I was thinking of 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Anyway, brain's going this morning. It was 1 o'clock in the morning there, hence why it's gone so far. Wasn't expecting any changes there anyway. Right, okay. Don't really like that one. There's better things out there. My Euro Aussie still in play. It's trying its best not to be in play yesterday. It spent most of the time from when I spoke to you in the morning pushing upwards, only for it to roll back again. If you were looking at a single trade on this, it's got scope to carry on to the downside here. I've been looking at it really off the bigger time frames here, and it's really not doing too much at all at this stage. Still tootling along quite slowly, but it's doing what the bigger time frames are suggesting, downside, but slowly. But it's got the scope on the shorter time frames here maybe to break on down. Not a great deal, but there are some things sitting. As I say, it's a case of waiting for the euro this morning and maybe the pound, see if they do drop off. But I would wait until about 8:30. I know I say that a lot. It's just it's a bit more reliable time. Okay, in other markets, silver's up nearly 3% this morning. Still sitting. That regression channel I put on there is using it as support now. Remember, that's 2 standard deviations either side of the price action. The average price, it's flat, isn't that ugly as anything though on the weeklies here. To me, it's not a tradable option at the moment from where it's sitting. Don't particularly like it short side or long side. Right, best thing is then to shake on to the gold. That's up 1% this morning. Again, it's really just continuing within these ranges, slowly down and up. How it seems to be. Dropped off yesterday, looked quite ugly. May still come, actually So there is a bit of a drift on this time frame. If we come out to the 4 hours, you can just about catch the drift to the downside there. It could just be drifting off, but it's not for me at the moment. S&Ps, these are difficult as well, becoming difficult, quite ugly on this 4 hourly picture. And whilst it sits like this, I really don't want to be doing too much. Maybe the break at some point of these highs. Got some scope to push up if it starts going this afternoon, but again, this is an afternoon trade now. FTSE, which could be a morning trade. Let's have a look at what's going on. Still pushing up relatively. Ooh, come back here. Solidly, relatively well. Still pushing up. Some big old retraces when they occur. So you just got to be careful. Don't if you're placing stops. If you're short-term trading, something may just hold in there, but otherwise, just be really quite careful on this. But it is still pushing up at the moment. It's still got potential further upside here. R1 in play potentially. High lows, higher highs. It's got scope still to push on there. And finally the DAX. So this has got into a right mix and muddle on the dailies here. It's not attractive at all. When it gets like this, you start looking. You can pick on things occasionally, but it's quite ugly the way it came off yesterday. It did come off the pivot there. I think I was looking at this earlier on in the morning. Potential when it sort of came off, then went back up, and then came off, and it's quite ugly. It's not really. It did run between the pivot and the S1, of course, but aside from that, really not a great deal going on there. Okay, bit of divergence probably around this point here, but I just don't like it. It's a bit of a hanger. So there we go. Don't like the markets, don't trade the markets. Look at things that are looking better, and as I said already, possibly the euro and the pound. Just need to give them a little bit of time to see if we get a bit of a continuation if you're looking at the shorter time frames. But if it doesn't break to the downside here, I'm not really interested in trying to catch any sort of recovery. I'm looking for the downside. Right, have a great day's trading, and I will catch you tomorrow morning. Take care. Bye for now.